May 11th, 1945, 0445 hours, Conical Hill, southern Okinawa. A monsoon downpour lashes the landscape, turning every ravine into a torrent and every foxhole into a grave. Lightning forks across the sky, illuminating the Shuri Line, a fortress carved from coral limestone. 15 kilometers of interlocking ridges, reverse slope defenses, and tunnel networks that snake 30 meters deep. Lieutenant General Mitsuru Ushijima stands in the central command chamber, a cavern lit by a single swaying lantern. Rainwater drips from the ceiling onto maps now blotched with red ink. Kakazu fallen, Sugarloaf contested, Conical Hill the linchpin. You can smell the rot in the air, gangrene, cordite, and the sweet sick stench of bodies fermenting in the heat. Ushijima's uniform hangs loose. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. Colonel Yahara, ever the realist, whispers the latest count. 32nd Army down to 50,000 defectives. Ammunition at 30%. Food, less. But the general's eyes burn with a fanatic's light. Shuri is the gate, he says. Voice like gravel. If it falls, Okinawa falls. We bleed them here until the home islands are ready. At 0500, the American barrage begins. It is the heaviest yet. 10 battleships, 15 cruisers, and a swarm of destroyers hurled 27,000 shells in 90 minutes. The ground shakes like an earthquake. Coral dust billows in choking clouds. From the 10th Army's lines, Major General John R. Hodge watches through binoculars, rain streaking his poncho. This time, he mutters to his aide, "We don't stop at the first ridge." The 6th Marine Division leads the assault on Conical Hill, supported by the 1st Marine Division's battered tank companies. Sergeant Harlan Blocker, promoted on the field after Kakazu, his burns bandaged under a fresh flak jacket, commands a replacement M4A3 Hell's Bell. The tank's hull is scarred with weld patches, but its 76mm gun is new, and its wet stowage racks are packed with armor-piercing capped rounds. No more 75s, he tells his crew. We're hunting bunkers now. The advance begins under a rolling barrage. Shermans with dozer blades shove aside barbed wire and dragon's teeth obstacles. Zippos follow, their flame guns hissing in the rain. The first objective, a knoll codenamed Item Hill, crowned by a concrete blockhouse housing a 150mm howitzer. Japanese spotters see the tanks coming. "Tin cans again," a gun captain snarls, cranking the elevation wheel. Range 800 meters. Fire! The 150mm shell screams down, striking the lead Sherman square on the turret. The impact is cataclysmic. Steel peels back like a tin opener. The tank brews up instantly, cooking off its ammo in a chain of explosions that lights the dawn like a second sun. Marines scatter, screaming, but the second wave is already moving. Hell's Bell transverses, 76mm barking. The AP round punches through the blockhouse embrasure, detonating inside. The howitzer flips skyward, landing in pieces. The crew never fires again. By 700, the Marines are in the draw below Conical Hill proper. The slope is a killing field. Knee mortars lobbing bombs in high arcs, Nambu machine guns sweeping the open ground, and suicide squads crawling through elephant grass with pole charges. One Japanese private, 19-year-old Hiroshi Tanaka, belly crawls 50 yards under fire, a 10-kilogram satchel charge strapped to his chest. He reaches Hell's Bell, slaps the charge against the rear grille. The blast lifts the tank 6 inches off the ground. The engine dies. Smoke pours from the vents. Blocker kicks the hatch, drags his loader out as flames lick the turret. Tanaka's body is vapor. Only his boots remain, still laced. But the Shermans keep coming. Engineers lay scrim netting over hulls to defeat magnetic mines. Demolition teams with satchel charges and beehive-shaped charges blast cave entrances. One by one, the forward positions fall. By noon, Conical Hill's eastern slope is American. The cost, 14 tanks destroyed, 22 bogged or damaged, 600 Marines dead or wounded. Japanese losses, 2,100. The ratio is brutal, but the line moves. Inside Shuri Castle's tunnel complex, once the royal seat of the Ryukyu kings, now a charnel house, Ushijima receives the news. His artillery chief is dead, decapitated by a direct hit. The 150mm batteries are silent, barrels warped by counter-battery fire. We still have the reverse slope, Yahara insists, and the rain. Let the mud do our work. Ushijima nods, but his hands tremble as he lights a cigarette. The divine wind has failed. The fleet is gone. Only flesh and coral remain. That afternoon, the 77th Infantry Division joins the assault from the west. Their Shermans equipped with experimental Cullen cutters, hedge trimming blades welded to the bow. They slice through bamboo thickets and barbed wire, exposing tunnel entrances. Flamethrower teams, now using napalm thickened with gasoline and soap, pump 100-foot streams into the depths. The tunnels become ovens. Men claw at coral walls, lungs searing, until the pressure waves rupture eardrums and crush skulls. At 1600, a breakthrough. A Zippo tank finds the main ventilation shaft for the castle complex, a 3-meter-wide pipe camouflaged as a drainage culvert. The operator, Corporal Dale Torch McAllister, jams the nozzle in and lets loose. The napalm surges 200 meters through the tunnel, igniting oxygen pockets and ammo dumps. The explosion is biblical. The entire western face of Shuri Castle bulges, then collapses in a landslide of stone and bodies. Hundreds die instantly. The survivors stagger out, blind and burning, into Marine crossfire. Ushijima is forced to evacuate the castle. His staff carries him through a rear tunnel, boots squelching in blood. Behind them, the Shermans crest the rubble, 76mm guns traversing the ruins. One shell punches through the throne room wall, detonating against the ancient wooden beams. The castle, symbol of Ryukyu sovereignty, burns like a funeral pyre. By nightfall, the Shuri line is cracked. The Americans hold Conical Hill, Sugarloaf, and half the castle grounds. Japanese counterattacks, frantic bonsai charges in the rain, break against tank hulls and bayonets. The 32nd Army is bleeding out. Ushijima knows it. Yahara knows it. Even the lowliest private, cowering in a flooded tunnel, knows it. But one defense remains. The Oroku Peninsula, a final redoubt where the Japanese Navy has dug in with coastal guns and suicide boats. There, Ushijima plans his last stand, and there, the Shermans will face water, mines, and an enemy with nothing left to lose. As the rain hammers the coral, a single thought echoes in every Japanese mind. The tin cans are at the gate, and the gate is burning. June 4th, 1945, 0330 hours, Oroku Peninsula, southern Okinawa. The sea wind howls across the narrow isthmus, carrying the copper reek of blood and the low thunder of distant naval guns. Moonlight glints off the hulls of shattered Japanese suicide boats, Shinyu beached like gutted fish along the shoreline. Rear Admiral Minoru Ota, commander of the 5,000-man naval base force, stands atop a coral bluff in a tattered white uniform, field glasses pressed to his eyes. Below him, the peninsula bristles, 47mm anti-tank guns in revetments, 75mm naval rifles stripped from destroyers, and tunnels bored into the cliff face like wormholes. You can taste the desperation now, salt, diesel, and the sour bile of men who know the end is measured in hours. Ota's orders are simple. Hold until Ushijima's remnants link up from the east. Buy time for the final evacuation to the Kiyamu Hills. But radio traffic is a graveyard of static. Shuri has fallen. The castle is ash. The 32nd Army is a ghost. At 0400, the American 6th Marine Division begins the amphibious envelopment. LVTs churn through the surf, under a canopy of star shells. USS New Mexico's 14-inch guns walk fire across the peninsula,